Share a few things while I'm sitting here relaxing in my pool. I think pretty sure I put a video out previously showing that one of my greenhouses is no longer really, I can't seem to get things to grow inside it. I think because I don't have the right kind of ventilation, and it's just too expensive to try to do that. So therefore it's now my pool house. So I'm going to spare you seeing me in the pool, but I will let you see my foot. You can see my good foot. I won't show you the other foot. But, so anyway, just thought I wanted to share my experience this past Monday at the eye doctor. I got my third injection, and this process was like the first one. As a matter of fact, when I went in, I was first off glad to see it was a different person. It was a different tech. My husband thinks it was the same one as the first one. I'm not sure, but she definitely knew what she was doing. So I let her know, that when I went the last time for the second injection, I felt pretty much everything that happened. And I was concerned, was it me? Was I nervous? Even though I didn't think I was. Because I knew what to expect, but I also knew it shouldn't hurt. But then it did. So she of course, said she didn't know if it could be possible that it was me being nervous. But she would do her best to make sure that didn't happen this time. And she did a good job. So, and I also had told her that my research shared that it needs to be at least 5 to 10 minutes for the numbing drops. So she numbed, of course I had injections in both my eyes. She numbed both of my eyes on the inside of my eye, and then drops on the outside of my eyes. And then she also did drops on the tops of my eye. Like she just kind of pulled my lid up just a tiny bit and put the drops there. And of course, as soon as she put the first eye drop in, I looked at my watch so I could see the time. And everything, went well as far as I could tell. But then immediately the doctor came in. And so, of course, I kind of whispered to her, because I looked at my watch and it had only been 2 minutes. And I whispered to her, I said, it's only been 2 minutes. And she was very confident, you could tell. And she's very young and knows what she's doing, which I liked. She just very confidently, she said, it'll be all right. And so I trusted her on that. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything else. So when the doctor, of course, came in, he came over there to probably put gloves on. I'm actually not sure what he did. But, getting the needle ready, because she had already put everything out without touching it, which is kind of cool how they were able to do that. But then she mentioned to him that I had felt it, that it was very painful the last time. And he made the comment, which I felt bad. I didn't think he would think that. He said, I can't really see when I'm putting the needle in where it's going. He said, so in other words, he was basically saying maybe it was his fault. Well, I truly do not believe it was his fault. So anyway, once he, talked to me a little bit, and he also commented about the fact that, even though my sugar is now controlled, this is stemming from when it wasn't controlled. And I reminded him, I said, I was actually 12.1 in November of 2024. And by January or February, I was 7.1. So once I found out that I had this, it was time to get it right. So it was nice to have his confirmation that this was from previously, because I'll be honest with you, I've been wondering, it's like, why is this happening when this past year my sugars have been slowly, not as fast as I was hoping, but they have been slowly going down. As a matter of fact, had my lab work done just recently, 2 weeks ago, and it's now 6.1, my A1C, whereas in March it was 6.6. So it's definitely slowly but surely coming down, because the lower I can get it, the less damage that's happening to my body each and every day. So my goal is definitely to get it down. My goal is to get it 0.5, 0.7 or lower. That's my goal. And I'm thinking it might take me a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm looking forward to that. So now back to the injections. When he did these injections, it was like the first injection. It was kind of like when you get your tooth worked on and they numb your tooth. You can feel it, you know something's happening, but you can't feel what they're doing. And that's what happened here. I could feel a little tug. He was definitely injecting my eye, and the needle was going in my, I guess it's going in my eyeball, or maybe below it. I'm actually not sure. I need to research that just out of curiosity. But I definitely could feel the tug, but that's all I felt. And I thought it was really sweet when he was leaving. After he left, the tech, she asked me, she said, "Did you feel that?" And I told her, I said, "Nope." I said, "It was like the first time." I said, and I thanked her. I said, "You did an excellent job." I said, "Thank you so much." And then when she was done, and also, I need to add this, just kind of as an FYI. Right before the doctor came in, she then put the betadine in my eye, and she made the comment. She said, "Now you're not going to be able to dab once I do this." She said, if you need to, let me know so I can do it." So then, of course, after the doctor left, she then proceeded to cleanse it out, and she did a fantastic job of that also. And it was so nice when I came home. There was no pain, but even after the numbness wore off, it was maybe a little pain. And then the next day, it was a little itchy-ish, just kind of where probably it was healing. And I would have to remind myself not to scratch it or rub at it, because I didn't want to, make it worse, or slow down the healing process. But yeah, I've been fine. When as a matter of fact, with the second injection, I literally had to lay down after the injection because the pain, it just knocked me out. I mean, I was just so tired, I couldn't hardly function as a person. And this past Monday, I was able to do my normal stuff. I was able to function as if nothing had happened, even though I'd had 2 injections in both of my eyes, or an injection in both of my eyes. Yeah, 1 injection in both of my eyes. So, yeah, it makes a difference when the person knows what they're doing, that's for sure. So I'm kind of glad I said something. I didn't want to get the young girl in trouble that did it last month. But as I told my husband, I said, maybe they'll go back and look and see who did it, and maybe just give her some training. Maybe show her, hey, this is what you need to do, instead of whatever you did. So, because she only put the eye drops in the corner of my eye. She did do it 2 or 3 times, but it did roll out the sides, and it didn't numb it very well. So, just wanted to share that. And of course, I want to tell you about my A1C, that it is definitely getting better. And mainly, I just wanted to, if you're finding yourself in a situation where you need to have injections put in your eyes, make sure they put the numbing in both sides of your eyes, and maybe even at the top of your eye. And make sure they wait at least 5 minutes, which by the time the doctor finished talking to me and got the injection ready to put in, it had been 5 minutes. So that's why she was very calm and told me, when I whispered to her, it's only been 2 minutes. She said, she said back very calmly and quietly, she said, "It's okay." She said, "It'll be fine." And she was right. So, and then also I have to share this is crazy. When I was leaving, I guess due to the water in my eyes, probably still a little bit in there. And also I picked up the wrong pair of shoes that morning. I have a pair of shoes that I found, and I actually have that on a YouTube thing also. With Stumpy, I have a shoe that I found that actually works pretty good. It's the Avia shoe. Well, I grabbed the wrong shoe and put on my Skechers shoes, which are very nice. They're comfortable, but they don't help me very well with my balance. Therefore, when I came out of the doctor's office, when I came out of the room rather, the doctor was standing there. They have this counter, and the lady was sitting there with her laptop, and I suspect they were discussing the next patient. Well, as my husband told me, he said, "You took off so fast." He said, "I couldn't even catch up with you." I didn't realize I took off so fast. I guess I just wanted to get on out of there. And so I took off, presumed I had on the correct shoes. Well, I didn't. Next thing I know, I'm going to my left, right into the lady that's sitting there at the counter with her laptop. I hear her say, "Oh," and I mumble something about, "It's just my feet." I don't think I even looked at her. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, I can't believe I just did this. I literally almost sat in her lap. But I didn't, thank goodness. I actually stopped myself, righted myself, looked around like, where in the world is my husband? Why didn't he grab my arm or something? So anyway, I look, and he's coming as fast as he can, but not quite fast enough. And so once he caught up with me, I grabbed his arm, and I think I whispered, "Why didn't you grab me?" And he said, you took off too fast. So anyway, we went and checked out and made the appointment for July. And of course, in July, as a matter of fact, they're going to dilate me and do everything that they did when I first came to see if I need more injections. So I'm hoping I won't need any more, but that's what I'm going to have to do. So anyhow, I appreciate you listening. Somebody was walking by because I'm sitting outside, so I kind of had to lower my voice, but I thank you for listening, and I hope this is helpful to someone. I thought I'd end the video with Ginger. My sister says she likes to see her, so I just came in from the pool, and she's right here greeting me, so she's saying hello. This is where she likes to sit and wait for when my husband comes home, or when we come home if we both are out. Especially if we've been gone all day, because I watch this. I'll care for a lady, an elderly lady, a couple times a week, and so sometimes we're both gone all day, and oh yeah, she's right there waiting on us. Okay. All right. She says hi.